April 15, 2014 Door County Board of Supervisors meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. If you will all rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we will take the oath of office with Judge Ehlers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The concern has already been expressed that because I didn't wear my robe, this won't be official. But do not worry about it. It's still official. I ask that all of you please stand, raise your right hand. I state your name, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of County Board Supervisor to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just want to welcome all the veteran county board members back. Congratulations to all the new members, and just wanted to express on behalf of myself and Judge Diltz, if you have any questions regarding circuit courts or the judicial system here in Door County, we are available to answer those questions over at the Justice Center. Don't ask for legal advice, that's what you got him for. But I do understand some of you are going to be touring on Friday, so we'll see some of you then. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we can proceed to roll call. If you're here, click yes and confirm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, move down one. It's too big. This is a bird top.
All 21 are present. And next, election of the chairperson of the board. So we will start with your nominating ballot.
Thanks.
And all of you are eligible to be nominated.
Oh, good. That's what you think.
Rob Mathers, second. Oh, we don't have to say.
Thank you.
You put your name down. You put your name down. I'll put your name down. Oh, it's right at the bar. You missed it. Yeah, I heard you guys were getting something.
Do we have to sign this one?
Thank you.
Thank you. You got to sit right in front of the teacher so she
Yeah, no problem.
did that with
This is nomination. Steve Majors, give me. What is it? Brad or what? Brad's their sister brother. And Barb, not people, Paskey. We got mixed up between two names. He was one and two and the other.
I think that's smart.
Very much.
Even for the annual one? It's 3. Well, this is one I can do. Most times on Thursdays, I have a hard time getting this right.
Okay, nominations are for Dan Osted and Leo Zipper. We will proceed to the voting ballot.
Yeah.
Did you notice I? Yeah, I noticed if you didn't. So this is going to be, it can't be a tie.
Thank you.
It used to be. Right? It could be a tie if
Yeah.
somebody abstained.
Only you would think of something.
Wait, what? She said it can't be a tie. Could
He
be.
said only you would think of something.
Like somebody got a vote. Yeah. The paper stuff? I did, I left it at home, I forgot it at home, that's it. Oh. Is it?
Jake.
Had it on the table, on my desk.
Yeah, 14 for Mark Savard.
No, you asked that.
You won't let that one die, will you?
Well, that's because I set up for campaigner.
I had somebody else yesterday that I only had 2.
That's what
I said, really? What else did I say about that guy ever leave?
Was it?
More than 21. Okay. I did, I don't know, could be.
Okay, receiving the majority of the vote and will be declared the chair for 2014-2016, Dan Osted.
Yeah, I can take my sign down now.
Save it for 2 years.
Oh, I move everybody right now?
You can, so
You gotta
great.
move everybody.
Whatever you want.
You're
Now
the-
you, I've
Now you
given
have
up.
the boss.
No, you-
Everybody gotta take one move to the left.
To the left?
Then we'll move down.
I guess so.
I'm moving back in his chair.
No, we gotta go to the right.
Yeah.
Oh, the other level.
Front row goes to the left, middle row goes to
You
the
want my
right.
chair back?
Back
Yeah,
row
we
goes
go
to
to
the
the
right.
right.
I get your seat.
I
I gotta take my neighbor.
Get out of my way. I warmed it up for you.
Good brains, hot.
I use your wallet?
I never moved my stuff out of the door. It's still over
Oh
here.
my gosh, are we gonna sit next to each other, David?
I guess so. Right here.
Yeah, great.
I think when I.
Can we take our chairs with us?
Do we take our, I was gonna say, take our things place. Yes, I know.
Y'all can keep the straight to what's happening.
That's right.
Person.
We're right in the drawers
I
together.
can't take my anger, but otherwise David can take it. Oh, here's Joel.
Oh, you're the most senior guy. Can I take you first?
Was this what is?
No. You want to see it?
You didn't announce why you put them, people already did.
Switch the names.
You're the most senior guy.
See how long it
I
takes.
took down my county board
Yeah, 'cause I
chairman.
should- Maybe I should leave that.
Give me a second.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I just like to bring it someplace.
Everybody.
That's yours.
Mine, mine.
That's a lot of work.
There's no right.
That's not my stuff. That would have been, that stay weekend. Belong to anybody.
Oh, yeah, I can't forget that.
I'm off by you, or you all need yours.
If my number of years, all mine.
Oh, yeah, I did that too, John. I'm moving your table over here. Guys, fish should be moving up.
I didn't.
Yeah, you want this?
I like this, Dave, I like this.
Oh, I forgot that. Leo,
That's a good spot, because you're never on TV. Are you chair of finance then, too?
That's true, you don't get to say.
That's right. Come on.
I didn't write that on there. Someone else.
Trapper break.
But only the shadow, that's
It's a church.
Welcome.
Pull that lever on the side here. Yeah.
I want to thank everybody. It was a fun 2 years last year, and I think what was the amazing thing is that we, over a 2-year period, we only had one even close vote. And that shows you how good the committees are working to get the job done before it gets to the county board. The seating arrangement is in seniority. The longest time spent on county board, not the consecutive time, but the longest time, and we put the old people closer to the back so they could get to the bathroom quicker. And actually, we thought of putting them up front, but I thought that, or Jill thought that they should face the full county board when they talk with all that knowledge back there. So now we'll go to the election of the vice chair. Go ahead, Jill.
Okay, all right. So we'll do a nominating ballot for vice chair.
David? No, oh, it's got Dave on this side.
Yeah,
Can't go wrong.
That's right, I sure
can't go right either.
Everybody will left. What do I do with this?
Vice chair. Nope. Give that back to two other forms, give them, fill up.
Okay, so it goes back to them.
Yep.
Okay. How did I miss this?
So we have
This
23
one?
nominations.
Oh,
You
oh,
gotta give me a ballot.
How to
Spell me that one for me.
If it's close, you can figure it
oh,
out.
I forgot the end.
It's way better when you do
Give
that.
up your vote.
I thought,
Yep, yep.
Made it back.
You're more organized.
Yeah.
I don't know.
this one is already there.
I don't remember that.
No, I don't know.
There we go.
Over there.
And these here would be EMS 5, 7.
Big secret was we look for a count.
I didn't see much.
Didn't do anything with this one
Tell.
because of
Forget.
Boy, that power went in the head right away.
Do we have a list of questions?
This one is in
When he said that, he told him that we were gonna do this, I said,
Maybe I should.
what's that gonna And he says, well, I think it's.
I thought today would be a fun day. It wouldn't be.
Let everybody decide.
Pretty soon.
Well, I think it's 10, so.
Yeah, it's 10. It would be 10. I like it.
I know.
I talked to Fisher, I talked to Dave Lino.
I'm gonna do the whole thing.
Nominations.
Oh, thank you.
Nomination.
The TV.
Sometimes
But
it's
it's enjoying this. Yes, I know. I was very.
Okay, nominations are for David Lino and Leo Zipper. So we will go to vice chair, voting for vice chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
could I be recognized?
yes. Go ahead.
I'll have my name withdrawn.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion, Ben?
I'll make a motion to cast a unanimous ballot for David Leno as Door County Vice Chair.
I'll second it.
Okay.
How many I could do?
You got that written down?
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
He's the man.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You get by, David.
Well, there's about 4 of them.
Put Kathy.
Put Don City wants to be noted as here.
Thank you. Okay, so we can get rid of those.
Next is to review and revise and adopt the rules of orders and duties of the standing committee. And in your packet are all the rules and regulations that have been gone through by the administrative committee. And does anybody have any questions on them? If not, a motion to accept the rules of order. And
I would make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Fisher.
I'll second it.
Mark Miller, second. Has anybody got any questions on it? Go ahead, Roy.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I noticed that we post our meeting notices. Where in Door County are these meeting notices posted?
They're posted here in the government center, in the lobby, at the Justice Center, in the entrance, and at the library.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, should we go to the border board for that one? Are you ready for it? Should I take a voice vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's passed unanimous. Next one is the election of the Highway Committee and the chairperson. Just to refresh everybody's memory, there's an election for a north person, a south person, and a city person, and 2 at large. The first at large determines who would not be available for the second at large because there can only be 2 members from each area on the county highway shop. In other words, if someone is elected from the city as at large, and the person from the city at large, those 2, then the second at large cannot come from the city. Does everybody understand that? And are you going to run the ballots, I hope?
Did you want to? You can
No,
work right here.
no.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Leo.
Did we forget the second half of number 6, the duties of the standing committees? Or are we going to
We
take
did
it all as
it,
one?
we did it all together, you know. Did you want to, is that where you were going to make your motion, is the duties of standing committees, or?
Well, unless you're going to allow me to do it somewhere else.
Well, we could back up, I guess. So let's back up to that. Leo wants to make a motion on the duties of the standing committees. Go ahead, Leo, say what you want to say.
Okay, on page 14 of your duties of the committees would be the start. It's my intention to get more people involved in the various committees. And if you'll start from the top, the Committee on Ag Extension Education would remain the same. Airport and Parks Committee, I'm proposing that membership go to 7. Emergency Services also go to 7. Finance Committee is already at 7. Highway will stay at 5 because that's statutory. IS Committee would go to 7. Law Enforcement Committee would go to 7. The Legislative Committee has already been up to 5 from 3. The Property Committee would be adjusted to be 7 members. The Resource Plan Committee would stay at 5 because that seems to work where it is and without any need to have it changed. Risk Management as well would be at 5. The other committees I really don't have a problem with. So the real new changes would be moving all the 5-member committees to 7. They would be EMS, IS, Law Enforcement, Property, and Airport and Parks. And the Negotiating Committee is one other I forgot. It's now at 4, and I think it should go to 5. And the Legislative Committee had been at 3 and is now going to 5. I don't do this facetiously. I do it because I think more people of the board can participate and have an active role in what happens here at County Board. Most recently, we did change the membership of admin to 7 and finance to 7, and that seemed to work very well. So that's my intent, and I would make a motion that we make those changes to the committee if it's proper to do it at this time.
Grant, I gotta ask, is it proper to do that at this time, even though that had passed on the agenda, or could we back up and, you know, the motion that was unanimous to pass the rules and order and the duties of the standing committees? How do we back up and start over?
You can back up just by...
Let's do it on an omission, you missed that portion of it.
Yeah, if there was some uncertainty as to whether one or both of the rules and order and duties of standing committee were being adopted, or two, just by consensus, you can back up and revisit something.
Okay, now, at one time I asked you, and everybody probably knows this, that we were talking about splitting airport and parks into airport and parks, and I thought that that could be done when the committees on committees come forward. Is that right, or is this the proper time, or?
This would be the ideal time, but again, at the organizational meeting in general, that's when those sorts of things would need to be accomplished.
Like, when we have a meeting of this on the agenda and we come back with the committee appointments, can we make those changes then?
No.
Well, there's sort of the county board, by approving the standing committees, the organization and membership has the authority. Then the committee on committees, quote unquote, because it really isn't a committee, it's just the county board chairperson exercising their right to appoint, subject to county board confirmation. But the ideal time would be, or the best practice would be, to do it now, so that when you go into that, you know what you're dealing with in terms of the committee makeup and the members.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Leo, would you like to, my opinion, I'd like to make your motion's not seconded, but would you maybe make airport a committee and parks a separate committee, or?
I don't see a need to split those up. I think we can just leave them together for now.
Is there a second to Leo's motion?
Second.
Okay, second by Biz. Any discussion? Go ahead, Ken.
I understand the intent, and I see that it's not, I understand it. But we had a vote a few months ago when I proposed raising the pay for supervisors to $200 from $150 for county board, and that got turned down. It was the will of the committee, and I'm okay with that, to keep our pay down. This is a good way to circumvent that and to add pay for all of us, give us a raise by establishing more positions on the committees. We also are constantly told that we are a legislative body. Things change once we got an administrator. The argument could be made that we don't need committees. If we keep adding people to the committees, what we can end up with is just say, okay, we don't need committees, we'll just have a county board meeting every quarter. And if it lasts a day, we get $150. If it lasts 2 days, we get $300. And we'll talk to all the department heads in that day or 2 days, get all the information, and make any decision we need to make. This is just, pretty soon, what do you do? Have 21 members on every committee? I'm not going to support this.
Okay. Has anybody else got any opinion? David?
If you recall, I believe a year and a half or 2 years ago, we took several committees and combined them with the thought that we could get more people involved in some of those committees. We increased the committee membership by doing that. And after a couple of months, it was determined that that didn't work so well, and we broke the committees back out. But as a result of that, we did increase admin committee, we increased finance committee. There was a couple other committees we increased the membership on because it did work well for that. I guess what I would recommend or ask is let the admin committee, the new admin committee, evaluate them and come back to this body and say, yes, let's add 2 more to this one or not. Same thing with the airport and parks, if that's an issue. Let the admin committee evaluate that and have a discussion about it and come back and make recommendations. So that we don't end up 3 months without turning around and going, no, this is too unwieldy, let's change it back the way it was.
Are you making that a motion or an amendment?
I'll make that amendment to the motion.
Well, would you make that, postpone it to send it on to admin? Or just make,
If that's the motion we need, yeah.
Graham, what would be the best way to do that? If they want to send it to admin to reaffirm it or to change it? There's a motion already on the floor.
Right, the motion's on the floor, that really wouldn't be an amendment. I think you'd have to vote the present motion up or down, and then you could, the next motion could be to send it to the administrative committee for something else.
Could you make an amendment, a motion to postpone it and send it back to admin or send it to admin?
Because the motion's already on the floor, the motion to postpone indefinitely
But you could make a motion to send it to committee, can't you?
would take precedent, but it would require, I have to look at rules of order, a 2/3 vote. So I think the simplest way to do it from a parliamentary procedure would be to have an up or down vote on the motion that's already on the floor, unless you want to amend it. By an amendment, what I would envision is removing the Airport and Parks Committee or removing one of the other committees.
Okay. Go ahead, Leo.
I believe it's too big of an item for 7 people to take a look at, but I think we should be listening to the advice we received today on all 21. If you go back to only 7 people making the decision, you're again defeating the purpose of getting more people involved. I would call for the question and have the vote.
I guess I would suggest that the admin committee take a look at it and then bring their recommendation back to the county board for final approval, not that they make the decision to do it. I'm not for it or against it, but it comes at such a late...
You don't sound like you're in favor of it.
I'm not in favor of it and I'm not against it. It comes so quickly upon us, I don't know if we can make a quick decision.
Why don't we go to the floor and have a vote?
Okay.
See what they're...
Did anybody else got anything to say? Dick Haynes.
I just think it's pretty important for more of us to be involved in a few more committees, not money-wise, because the little bit of money we get to go to a meeting isn't really the factor of it, but I think it's important because I get asked a lot of times about what's going on with this and that, and, well, I'm not on that committee, and I know we're supposed to read all the minutes from all the committees to know that, but I don't think everybody does, so I think it's a good thought that should happen.
I don't disagree with you, Dick, but what I'm saying is coming at such short notice that not everybody knows which way it's going to go, and then to put the committees together, this might take a couple, 2-3 hours. So that's why I'm saying delay it, come back to the county board at a later date.
A lot of good things happen on the spur of the moment.
Okay. Ben?
I was wondering if there's any part of the rules that would prohibit us from examining this issue and then changing the committee structure, midway through our year. If the admin committee, for example, were to recommend specific changes, maybe even the exact changes that Mr. Zipper is advocating for, could we, or would there be anything that would prohibit us from rearranging the committee structure at that time?
No, you can rearrange it at any time by a majority vote of a quorum. So.
Susan?
I'm of 2 minds. I like the idea of more people being involved in more decisions, but I guess I wonder what kind of a financial impact this has. I mean, this is a bunch more people going. So I guess if it does go to admin, I'd like them to find out what kind of money we're talking about before I decide.
Biz?
The concept is good because you're going to have more people involved. And we pretty much know that when a resolution comes before the full county board, most of them pass. So the issues that go before committees, if you have more discussion and a resolution comes forward, you know there were more people involved in it to really look at the issue and then either pass it or defeat it. But when it comes to the county board, most of them pass. So the concept of having more county people, board people involved is good. Otherwise, we all know that there's people that, like Supervisor Haynes said, people ask him on the street about it, he says, well, I'm not on that committee, I don't know. So I think the concept is good to move it forward.
Okay.
I believe that's why they call this the organizational meeting. We should organize for the term or the 2 terms or the 2-year term. And we should do it now.
Okay, anybody else? David, are you going to make a motion or not, or what?
Well, I thought there was a call for the question, so
Okay.
the only comment I would have is to ask Mr. Zipper if he'd be willing to rethink if the idea is to get more people on committees, which I don't think anybody's opposed to, if he would consider amending his motion to split airport and parks, to get more people on airport and parks and get more people in that regard.
Okay, well, you could make that motion as an amendment, I mean, that, to his motion.
Okay, I'll make that motion as amendment to his motion.
Is there a second? Kathy? So, are there any other questions? So we'll have everything legal so far?
Perfectly fine.
Okay. So the first vote will be on the amendment to split airport and parks. My initial reasoning behind that was to allow more people to serve on more committees. And have 2 committees and then 1 more chairman, of course. So that will, we'll wait till she's ready to go here.
Can we have a discussion on that?
Sure, go ahead.
I'd like to hear from the others. My thought is it should stay together for now, anyway.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, how many members on each committee for airport and how many on parks?
But
Right now, there are 5.
That was going to be a 5-member committee that I had thought of having each one a 5-member committee with a chairman on each one, which would add, before this thing came up, would add 5 new committee chair, 1 more committee chair and 5 more new members. And that's why I was going to propose that at the committee on committees if I got there. So.
Instead of 7, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's my clarification. Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, David.
Then my question with David's amendment there would be, would it be 7 and 7 for each air park and parks? Because that wasn't actually answered in motion. Or would it be 5 and 5 as your intent would be if you were planning on splitting them up?
Well, part of this discussion is, I would still like to make a motion to refer it to admin for this very reason. We're having all the discussion about, which is fine. But I don't know whether it should be 5 or whether it should be 7. I mean, at some point in time, they also get a little unwieldy, depending upon what the committee is or what the items are. On admin and finance, 7 works pretty well. But we haven't had a lot of discussion about all the committees going to 7. I just remember back a year and a half, 2 years ago, when we combined committees, we thought it was a great idea, and we went forward with it. And after several months, everybody came back and said, this isn't such a good idea, let's revert back to the way it was. We did that, and at that point in time, we increased people on finance and increased people on admin as a result of doing that. So it worked through the process, and we worked through, and some committees did get increased. And I'm just suggesting we kind of follow that same procedure again, and that's just my suggestion.
Go ahead, Don.
What is the reasoning for splitting airport and parks? Is there something that's not working right? What's the logic for it?
Okay, the logic that I had, and this is my own logic, is that the meetings were lasting 3 and 4 hours, and that the people in the audience had to sit around for 3 or 4 hours to get answered. And that committee is the longest working committee. It takes the longest time. And to split it up so it's more uniform with the rest of the committees on how long the committee meetings last. And also it gives, and the part of the reason was that it gives, I just said, 5 new people a chance to be on a committee. And it also allows another chairman of the committee. And my opinion was that we try to give a chairmanship to just about everybody that has, so they have 1 chairmanship alone, and that's it. So, go ahead, Grant.
To clarify what can be done, and I apologize if I misunderstood David's intent, a motion to commit is a subsidiary motion like a motion to amend, and it can be applied to a main motion, and if adopted by a majority vote, can be used to refer the main motion to a committee and report back versus postpone.
Okay. Go ahead, Don.
And second part to my question is, then why originally was it combined?
I don't really remember. That's a number of years ago. At one time, they were split. Go ahead, Joe.
I just want to make a comment. When I first got on the county board, this was the only committee that to me made no sense, having those combined. And I'll say that because as being one of the only municipalities, the island, that we have an airport, I can tell you firsthand what's involved in the operations of an airport. It's a logistical nightmare. That is a township that we have to do to manage this. It's a job in itself. And for that reason alone, I think they should be split apart. That's my opinion. It's not knocking the fact that they're together. It's obviously been great and it's been worked. With the current rules of the FAA, the Bureau of Aeronautics in Madison, you know, all these new rules and regulations, it's a headache. And it's done fantastically, I understand that, but I think the time is coming where the rules will only get worse, we know that. And to keep this as one big committee, to me, is foolish, in my humble opinion. Only because I've had some insight in the last 3 years as my tenure in the town of what's involved in airport operations. I mean, it's a big deal, it really is.
Grant, if we wanted to back up, Kathy have to withdraw her motion or her second, and Dave withdraw his motion, and you could do that, or can he add to that now because it's an amendment?
It's not an amendment, it's a subsidiary motion, like a motion to amend the motion to commit. So you don't have to undo the motion to amend, but there probably should be a vote on that. And then when the main motion comes up again, it would be appropriate to have a subsidiary motion, the motion to commit.
It appears.
You want to repeat
It
that?
appears to be a rather cluster, but anyway.
Does that, doesn't it?
So,
Or my original suggestion was vote on the main motion. If that fails, you can always refer the question to whoever you want. So there's more than one way to approach this.
I already called for the question. Somebody's not honoring my request.
I know that.
But that, actually, that requires a second and a vote as well.
Calling for the question?
Yes.
Sounds like a good old boy system.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, we'll call for the question, a vote on whether we should call for the question is the proper way to do it.
Is correct.
Okay, so,
We need a second
Wait,
for that.
that was way back when, right?
you have to make that a motion, don't you?
It was made long
There needs a
before
second,
David's
yeah.
amendment.
Yeah, that needs a second. Does someone want to second his call for the question?
I'll second the call for the question.
Okay, and now the call for the question is just exactly what it is, not a okay of David's amendment and Leo's motion. It's a call whether the,
It was
It was
Leo's original motion.
one.
You're totally confusing the issue, Dan.
no, I'm not.
Just call the question.
You have to vote on the call for the question,
That is correct.
and that's what we're going to vote on.
So we're voting on whether we're going to vote.
Yes.
So we're voting on whether we're.
Voting
vote.
whether you're going to end debate and proceed to a vote.
Thanks.
Exactly.
On the original
Boy,
motion,
we're off to a
right,
good
Brad?
start. huh?
No, on the-
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Just wait a second, what, go ahead, yeah.
if I understand this correctly, we are now going to vote on whether or not we can vote or not.
That's correct.
There you go. Boy, you're learning pretty good there, bud.
Boy, it took a few years, Ken, but it's catching on.
We do things differently in Bailey's Harbor.
Call for a question. That's gonna-
I'm gonna call for the question.
Oh,
Right now.
Okay,
Are you ready for
everybody go to the, are you ready?
I don't think so.
This is just voting to see if we want to vote
We're
on
going to
this.
vote, you vote?
Yes, okay, so everybody go to the voter board, what you're voting on is the right to vote.
then we'll get both of them. Yeah.
No, you're voting to end debate.
Come on, I can't even get up there.
Okay.
Mr. Zucker didn't vote.
Hey,
Okay, that passed, so now we have to go to the vote for David's, David's,
Yes.
It's never valid.
No.
Yes.
Now we're going to vote
No.
on Leo's
Okay,
Leo's
original motion.
original motion.
Or you could make your
Point of
motion
order.
to commit.
Or you can make the motion to commit, right?
Point of order, the chair runs the meeting and can recognize a speaker or not. And the chair chose not to recognize the call for the question motion until after the amending motion was made. The amending motion is on the floor and should be voted on at this time.
wait, now, see
is that
that?
the assistant corp counsel
Yeah.
speaking? Or?
That's my opinion.
I called for the question long before there was an amendment.
Okay.
And your motion was not seconded until
Yeah, no.
after the amending motion was
No, it
made.
was, I guess.
Let's go back to the original motion.
Okay, we'll go back to the original motion. The vote will be on the original motion.
Okay.
To either accept what the proposal was or deny it. You ready?
Well, are you ready?
Yeah, well, all right. Here's what we're confusing.
They don't understand something?
Does everybody understand that now?
How do we have it recorded by the infamous county clerk?
You want to?
Yes, what is the,
Well-
what are-
Oh,
I'll say it like you
We're
said it.
voting now with Leah.
Okay, the motion is by Zipper, seconded by Verley, to change the makeup of membership from 5 members to 7 for the following committees: Airport and Parks, EMS, Information Systems, Law Enforcement, Property, and to further change the negotiating committee from 4 members to 5 members.
there you go.
Okay, are you ready on the voter board?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, everybody go to the voter board and vote her up or vote her down.
See what he can do there in the chair, he can have his will.
That has passed on 11 yes, 10 no.
That's,
We're off and running.
that's the majority, that's all you need.
So when we go to the committee on committees, it's going to take a little bit of time. Because there's a lot of committees that got to be readjusted.
Is that bad?
No.
I didn't say it was, I just said it's going to take a little time.
Wiped away by
Next is
Thank you.
election of highway.
We have in our motion.
Do we have to make a vote to re-vote the grant,
We just made a motion.
the review, revise, adopt the rules of order? That's all taken care of now?
I think technically, yes, if we can consider the amendment an amendment to the previously approved duties of the standing committee, that's fine.
Okay. Then we'll go to election of the highway committee and chairperson. Are we going to have north or south or city first?
Well, let's see.
Okay, you're in charge.
David, what happened to your amendment? Is it not?
We'll have Highway North.
Highway north.
Highway North.
Highway North nominating. Highway North nominating, and this is signed ballot. On the back. Nominate on the front, sign on the back. Dan, do you want to say who's eligible for North?
Right.
Do we need to know who's eligible for North,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman? Could you say who's eligible for North?
Okay, north will be, if I can remember this correctly, Randy Halstead, Holly Runquist, David Anikel, David Leno, Joel Gunlickson, Don City, Biz Verley,
Leo Zipper.
and Leo Zipper.
Did you sign, sir?
Oh, we got to sign.
On the front side?
And don't forget, you got to sign this ballot on the other side,
Man over here.
on the side that's the supervisor.
I signed it on the same side.
Yeah, you did that on the other ones too, didn't you?
You're still upstairs.
No, I didn't.
I could have voted for you on that one.
We're up and running.
No.
They said our.
I don't really get it. I didn't expect to get home till.
You know, Leo, Zipper, I always forget
I got
that.
a meeting at 6:30.
Or is it?
His goddamn assignment. Pencil it in, indicate. This number. He thinks you're doing well, but the answer is no.
We're in trouble.
Okay, nominations for Highway Committee Member North, Joel Gunlickson, Randy Halsted, Richard Verley, Leo Zipper. So were we ready to go to voting?
I guess so.
Okay, voting. Signed on the back again.
Interesting.
Fuchsia?
Oh, yeah, this is the color of the rainbow.
You don't want to pay attention?
The color of the rainbow.
I don't want to be civil.
Yeah.
If they don't work. I don't know. I sold it in Allen. My way up. Way up. Or it could be 10,000 now. That's what I got. I got that. This is the radio and navigation. That's what all on the screen.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to work all the time. I know, but I thought
It seems like it takes, like you gotta take it down the road.
I bought it.
no.
I had the toilet. Every time I go down there, it comes on and way down. So they gotta catch it. So now the other day it was off.
29 years.
You know, my wife was over, and I don't my own, you know, or, you know, it goes in live.
14 years on the county board.
It came back on.
About 2 years before that.
It's hard to get used to him, though.
I don't know what
I gotta catch it when it's
you
off
put down city.
down there. You don't know.
What did I do? What?
I'll tell you whether it's in a unit.
We would be what?
Let's say it's a power or ground issue.
Okay, receiving the majority of the vote is Joel Gunlickson.
Thank you.
What is it, Joel?
The majority of the vote went to Joel Gunlickson.
She made the,
Okay.
I think you've got the longest last name.
Brutal.
We'll go Highway
was everybody?
Committee Member South nominating.
Highway South.
Okay, the people that are eligible from the south are John Cook, John Burr, Susan Coit, Tim O'Connor, Roy Engelbert, let me see.
Haynes. Dick.
Oh, John Ninus. And I think that's it, yeah. Got it, everybody?
These two. You are. I'm just. By the way, you're doing
Kind of like, maybe it takes a while to find the satellite or something.
satellite radio in my doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
What's weird is, I said, the satellite radio on my
Where's, oh, really?
I'm parked in my garage.
Yeah.
I
feel like it.
Well, normally you go under a big canopy of trees.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
garage.
Road election, highway committee, and-
You're under an overpass and stuff, but mine works even in the garage. Hers cuts out how you go in the garage, which. What do you mean? Yeah. People don't understand that satellite radio. When you're in a tunnel, you won't cut out to get out of the tunnel because if you go through that orientation segment. So you get out of the tunnel. But see, that's why it doesn't.
This thing makes a noise once in a while, kind of like it's loading disc, you know, like a CD player, the radio.
Maybe that's.
Maybe we don't have any discs in there.
Unfortunately, I was out of town.
Exactly. Everybody. Close the card.
He wants to be.
You would think.
I always go to certain. Yeah, you take the over there and go past so much of the basic stuff.
Okay, nominations for Highway Committee Member South, John Cook, John Ninus, and Roy Engelberg. Are we ready to move to voting?
Yes.
Friday.
I did get to go there. When property went there to look at space and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Fortunately, can't have Friday. When do you do highway? I can go on that one, because I've not been in that one. Jury doing one.
What a way to start.
It's cold in here.
What?
We don't have any heat.
The air conditioners.
Thank you.
Feels like me, like the air conditioner.
Is that warm still outside?
You gotta read this.
She fell right under the land.
Right.
Yeah. The GPS would give $100. Radio.
You have faith?
You got anything for the town meeting?
See what he
I never even looked, but it works 80% of the time.
I think it really gotta be
I really think that the price is right down.
Then we're doing salary. No, that'll be nice. That's just where it will be downstream. Then you hear something turning. They're gonna like the tree is there.
That's why it's cut in every single cell.
Yeah. Even though I look at the.
Okay, receiving the majority of vote is John Ninus.
Gotta be in the trunk somewhere.
Thank you.
We'll move to Highway Committee Member City and the nominating ballot.
And that's not Don City.
That would be way too easy, Don.
From the city are, let me see. Kathy Schultz,
Everybody else.
Ben Meyer,
You're running away.
Dick Haynes, Mark Miller, Chuck Brand, Ken Fisher, and I think that's it.
Dan Austin.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry, who do you say? hair in my ear. It's not for years. I had a virus that said that it touched my ear. Really?
Yeah, so when Maureen came up with this, it doesn't make any difference. Who's on the council, can be any supervisor. Doesn't have to be this law enforcement.
I thought that was part of the deal, to have law enforcement.
Well, they should
What
be
does
there
CATS
because
stand for? Does it stand for CATS, for communication?
Communications, advisors, technical.
Well, that's the one.
This one, we got Dilts and Kenny Meyer.
What's the deal with Ken Myers?
He was at our last meeting, and he's off of chemo now, because he's so sick, they took him. And all they've done is pancreatic tumors. He's gonna be there.
Okay, nominations for Highway Committee member city are Ken Fisher and Richard Haynes. So we will go to voting for Highway Committee member city.
Steve Jobs, the guy that invented the internet. He had same thing, pancreatic. So did Rosie Blush, Rosie Aspen. She had pancreatic cancer.
I would hope that you would negotiate that. I don't want to sit there.
I would think so.
He might get a year.
Stop walking around.
I don't think it's gonna be.
We got 2 more years before that'll happen again.
No cancer is good to have. That one, yeah, I'm sure not a good.
Oh.
Good cancer to have.
Yeah, you gotta put the smiley face on there, else I don't know if it's okay with.
And I tell them.
Hey, for sure. Congratulations.
Yeah.
People can wear their city.
And you're very good at
That's what I like. That's what I know. I think the biggest thing is to know the board and what goes into Absolutely. I think highway certainly is a little important to all your men, and I don't know if my finance but I don't do finance too. Well, you have to be.
You notice that camera up there?
No, I don't think that's the. No, that's not the.
They're down here.
Well, I think it's
No,
marked.
but it's but I don't know much about finance, so I have to ask you questions about it. So then, we had this discussion, excuse me, Marilyn, I did another meeting, talking about what we're doing here.
So,
Okay, receiving a majority of the vote for Highway member, committee member city, Ken Fisher.
Okey dokey.
Thank you all.
Oh, Kenny.
You worked hard.
We'll go to Highway member at-large number 1, nominating. So everybody but
The 5,
the 3.
or 3, right?
Who currently is that position? Mr. Chairman? Who currently holds that at-large number 1?
Leo Zipper,
Thank you.
correct?
I thought it was 2, I don't know.
I thought, well, and Cletus is the other one. So, I think Cletus, I think, I don't remember, but I think Cletus was 2 and you were 1.
I should be 1, yes.
Maybe.
God. You just cannot make this shit up.
Thanks, Holly.
Oh, she gave me two, I don't need that.
You're welcome, Leo.
Well, you don't have to change yours, you know, in between.
Okay, so we said this was number one, this was Leo's position?
Yes, no.
The most important thing today is who brings what in what month.
Put that there. She gave us all the charts, see?
I didn't hear you, but.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, she's got to make sure everybody's.
Were you the snack person today? I know. I heard you were going to have heroes coming into it, right? Oh. Who was there today?
Oh, my gosh.
14 October, yeah.
Right.
Okay, nominations for Highway Committee Member at-large number 1, Chuck Brand, John Burr, Richard Haynes, Don City, Richard Verley, Leo Zipper.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to withdraw my name from this particular vote.
Okay. Nobody else? Continue onward.
Okay.
I was looking back at the history of Door County in, I think, 1939, for the ballot of Highway Committee. It took 29 ballots to elect one person. Hang on.
Wasn't there like a two-day meeting of chair and highway or something that they
Yeah.
had?
So 29 ballots later.
What did they get paid back then?
Grant, this has to be a majority vote. I mean, it is not just not the highest, it's got to be 11.
Correct, somebody has to get at least 11.
Get your exercise here running around this morning.
Bringing the meals.
See, this is your first time.
If I get elected,
Then everybody will
Yeah.
go out.
County chair, county board chair. What do you think about that, David?
Jill,
I think I'll run the county chair.
Next year, 2 years from now.
Roy looked at me.
I don't have no choice.
You can run, you may not win though.
Listen, I'm a good party planner.
If that committee went to 7.
That would be the reason. to
Democrat or
be-
Republican?
What?
Party planner, Democrat, Republican.
I can go either way.
We almost didn't have a forum.
If you get rid of that
Well, there's what?
3 business, you could actually have 4. My thing is this.
Well, I had patients up north.
Why?
I was out on the road until 5:30 last night seeing sick people.
I know, but the other part of it is.
Well, good, you
they're taking care
should.
of as well.
Shouldn't been here in a while.
Should be.
I thought that might happen, but I called early, like at 10 o'clock in the morning, because I saw what I had.
The weather.
Oh, the weather was terrible. But I was in the north end all day, healing the sick.
Okay, Highway Committee Member at-large number 1, receiving the majority of votes, was Leo Zipper.
Okey dokey.
Thank you very much.
So we'll go to Highway Committee Member at-large number 2, nominating.
Okay, now, it can't be a person from the north. It has to either be from the city or from the south, which would be Chuck Brand, John Burr, Roy Engelbert, Dick Haynes, John Cook, Susan Forward, Ben Meyer, Mark Miller, Tim O'Connor, Kathy Schultz.
I need one.
That's it, well, myself too, I guess, in the city.
So I could run on the party.
I think I missed it.
Food and entertainment.
Hmm? I think I got it.
If you go right we could have meetings at night out. People like at the Red Room and all these men like to go, y'all like to go. Liven it up a little bit. How's that when you drink? Well, it's not good if I do.
Different personality comes on.
Oh, no, it's just an exaggeration of this one. Lots of fun and it's not so good. I'm not mean or anything. I just left her.
Okay, nominations, Highway Committee Member at Large number 2, Dan Osted, Chuck Brand, John Burr, Richard Haynes, John Cook, Susan Kohout, and Roy Engelbert.
I'll withdraw my name, so, anybody else? Susan?
Withdraw my name.
Susan? You gonna keep track so you rename it? Anybody else? Can you read them off again?
Yep. Charles Brand, John Burr, Richard Haynes, John Cook, and Roy Engelbert. All right, going to your voting ballot for Highway at Large number 2.
That's why you signed it.
But people could request to go see who
No, you can right after, yeah. They're available for inspection.
You have to remember this is Holy Week.
Take a recess here at school.
Yeah.
Holy Week. Faster. Then we've got Monday, Thursday, and then Good Friday,
My
and
wife's car, and I took her car.
Easter, and then we'll be able to.
Mine's at 05. Yeah, mine's at 05.
After he's risen.
They're probably the same brother. Yeah.
That was a
It's
roughly equivalent to how you don't have to fly a plane at night in light.
Ran out after a certain
That I should be giving up something else.
They trade.
Everybody has to give up.
How's your budget?
Giving up something for
What for billions?
Because you're a good Christian, you follow through.
every day.
And he went to Africa. How long is he, there's supposed to be a limit for 2 weeks.
Mine is a CXL.
Yeah, Thunder don't. Oh, I like to Who'd you go with? Who'd you traveling car with? Summer.
We did not get a majority on any of
You get the straight 6.
those nominated.
So we have to re-vote again. Are you going to announce the?
Would you like me to?
Yes, because otherwise, yes.
Charles Brand has 6, John Burr has 1, Richard Haynes has 3, John Cook has 1, Roy Engelbert has 10.
So now anybody can withdraw if they so choose.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to withdraw my name.
Okay, John is withdrawn. Anybody else?
I'll withdraw.
John Burr is withdrawn. Anybody else? Then we'll go to the next vote. Read off the,
Yep, it'll be Charles Brand, Richard Haynes, and Roy Engelbert.
He's got 3, Brandy's got 6.
yeah, but, yeah, it usually starts off, but a little more.
Thank you.
Who should get it?
Right.
He bought a new Jeep Grand Cherokee and he took care of
Back
it.
then, or no?
Just about a year and a half ago. Because we used, Earl's used to take care of.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Really good care of his stuff. It's got a lot of room. It's like a peanut. We had another one there, all 5. Before we first started. Joe?
I guess so. Or, yeah,
Dream, yeah. I'm not worried about it.
maybe not. I think she needs something.
They were a little pricey.
Those are the ones to start.
They were. Mine was, I bought it, it was a year old. Many years before. Listed at about 30 grand.
That would have been up to 40. That much they went up
I get DVs from the agenda.
Should be 2 just
Who does this? I'm gonna have to get
I worked one of those real cold days of 17 below 0. You see how that thing starts software in the winter. It went out there, and got the lobby, and just hit it, and she started right up, she didn't smoke. They put a lot of power in it.
Put a diesel in that Liberty.
That thing was 45,000.
Oh, I know.
You know,
Put the X on the side.
went for a run after taking.
No, I don't drive that much. I would say the diesel is 12,000 miles on it. So, you know, that higher model. Plus, I've got still got a first cherry.
Maybe only he gets it. Didn't hear you.
So, 2 last year. So
Five, you got left.
Okay, receiving the majority of votes on that round is Roy Engelbert.
Hey.
Thank you.
You're gonna introduce, oh, can I, you're gonna unilaterally change the TV from agenda? Do I have to have a- you can do it.
70.
Just announce it. Just announce it.
Okay, I'm gonna deviate the public comment.
Yeah, I know.
it's a little, it's got some gas station.
And last will be your nominating ballot for Highway Committee Chairperson.
Keep track of this, I know what I'm doing.
Do you need to repeat who they are?
Yes, absolutely, repeat them.
We probably sold it at one.
That would be
John
John
Ninus,
Ninus.
Ken Fisher,
Ken Fisher. Joel Gunlickson.
No.
Or no.
Bill Zipper.
Well,
Bill Zipper,
who's qualified.
and Roy.
And Roy Engelbert.
Who's eligible?
Just those are the 5 eligible for chairman.
Yeah, qualified, maybe not.
Qualified, yes. No. You know what? Oh, come on. Be down here.
You just want to be big.
I didn't. I didn't hear my name.
Enough chairs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
He's in the back row, he can't
Huh?
hear. Pretty pink.
We have that vice chair too? I hope so.
This is it.
Yeah.
The vice chair of the highway committee is elected by the highway committee at usually the first meeting.
Yeah,
Does
okay.
this have to be a,
This is the last vote,
so it's just the highest?
other than adjournment.
Then we have to adopt the agenda.
You guys take care of it first. Switch back and forth. All you gotta do is take a look at what you, on the meetings, they said, "You're gonna need to." It's quite evident the guy is. Times you can't go on the goddamn job.
Yeah. We got a little orientation after this meeting.
What you do is you're not-
Beginning of the meeting.
You'll get your, that's what I wanted to bring you the sugar.
I've been in all different meetings. I got pretty long.
At the end of the meeting, yeah.
Okay, nominations for Highway Committee Chairperson, Ken Fisher, John Nines, Leo Zipper. So we will go to Highway Committee Chairperson voting.
Go ahead, your hand up?
Yeah, I'll withdraw Ken Fisher's name. No. I'll withdraw my name.
Just for that, I'm leaving my name in.
I'll withdraw mine.
Okay. So the only one is John Nines and Ken Fisher.
Fisher wants to be chairman again of that?
We got more than two left this time.
Hard to tell with it, what's going on.
Right there.
My name is getting worse and worse as I'm writing.
One thing when I get off county board, I think I'll know how to spell Engelberg, Nines, and all these other names.
God likes that it's a tough paper.
Yeah.
You gotta remember
See
that.
the results.
Two ends to it.
It's gonna be the same.
That's right.
It'll be taken right there.
Exactly right.
Right in there.
Well, you should see the way he
I
signed
just
it.
put JRG.
It doesn't even look close. Discovery now being involved.
Yeah, I do a lot of work there. Yeah. Because the gallery's always been hard for me to get.
Even where you're going,
Majority.
you'll still have to never be.
I'm in the same place except the reverse.
He was saying in the event Joe can make it off the island. Another day.
Majority.
Suspend.
We'll get to take a break.
John Nines receives the majority of votes for chair.
Congratulations.
You want to
And for
introduce her?
those of you who didn't know my assistant today, this is my new chief deputy, Barb Pavlik. She started at the end of January, so this is her first time she has kind of been at a board meeting with all of you.
She's training you well, Joe.
Okay, a motion to present the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mark, seconded by
Seconded.
Susan. Susan beat you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. That's passed. I'm going to deviate from the agenda just briefly because I'm going to ask for public comment and supervisor response. And so the persons, if they do want to speak, don't have to sit around for an hour or so. So does anybody from the public want to comment? Okay, one more time, anybody from public want to comment? If not, we're going to recess. The chairperson and the county administrator and Leo Zipper, John Ninus, Ken Fisher, Dave Lino will meet with us in office to try to put these committees together. Just for your information, those are the senior member from North South and the city and the vice chairman. So we're recessed for right now.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to try to get through all this stuff and we're going to go back into a closed session or whatever you want to call it, not a closed session, but a meeting with the committee on committees because we want to make sure that we balance them properly, that somebody didn't get 8 committees and someone else only got 2 committees. So we're going to just double check that. So it'll probably only take 10, 15 minutes and then Lori's got to retype it if it has to be retyped and then hand it out at the end of the meeting. So we'll
Mr.
start on the
Chairman?
agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
May I ask a question, please?
Well,
May I have the
certainly.
floor for a minute to ask a question?
Yes.
Of our corp counsel.
Yes.
I would
Go.
ask the corp counsel, if a committee is 7 members, is it written in the statute that it has to be filled? Yes or no? Come on, Grant, yes or no?
It could be. There are certain committees that require a minimum number of people.
Some do, but the
and
ones we did, do they have to be
The
filled?
standing committees do not have to have
Enough.
any
Thank you,
minimum number.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Boy, what was
Thank you,
that
Mr.
meeting
Chairman.
Okay, there's one other thing I want to say. If I were to redo my county board experience, one of the things I'll do, and I'll pass around an example, I would take, especially with all the cell phones out now, I'd take pictures of my committee because you don't know how precious they become. And I'm going to pass this, Holly said I could pass this around. This is a committee of the highway a number of years ago, and it tells you how fast, just to show people how fast things changed and moved. I wish I'd have pictures of all the committees and all the people I served with. And, this is a picture of the highway committee with actually Merle on it. So when you're done with it, give it to Holly, it's hers. So anyway, let's go on here. Correspondence. You have a letter about climate change that everybody is invited to if they'd like to, and the tab is on your own, not on the county. And then the district, Wisconsin Counties Association dates and et cetera. There a motion for the minutes of March 25th, 2000.
I'll make that one.
Chuck Brand,
Second.
Kathy, second. Kathy, I still can't see you.
I know.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolutions, we got 4 resolutions for the members that have retired, and Joe's going to read them off, and then I'll ask for a motion, and we'll have a voice vote on them. So go ahead. Gotta have some work on it, Joe.
Okay, Resolution 2014-27, expression of thanks and appreciation, Hugh Mulliken, to the Door County Board of Supervisors. Whereas Hugh Mulliken was duly elected to the Door County Board of Supervisors in April 2002, he was re-elected in April 2004, 2006, 2008, 2010, and 2012, serving for a total of 12 years on the county board. And whereas Supervisor Mulliken represented Supervisory District 19 in 2002 to 2011, including the towns of Bailey's Harbor, Ward 2, Town of Gibraltar, Ward 2, and the Town of Liberty Grove, Ward 3. After redistricting in 2012, Mulliken represented District 19, which included Town of Bailey's Harbor, Ward 2, and Town of Liberty Grove, Ward 3. And whereas Supervisor Mulliken served on several committees, including Airport and Parks, Highway, Land Conservation, Community Programs Board, Museum and Archives, Property, Resource and Planning, Law Enforcement and Judiciary, Human Services Board, Ad Hoc Building, Ad Hoc Fair Study, and whereas Supervisor Mulliken also served as Chairman of Land Conservation, Resource Planning, and Museum and Archives. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Board of Supervisors assembled this 15th day of April 2014 extends to Hugh Mulliken our sincere thanks and appreciation for his service to the people of Door County and wishes him the best of luck in the future.
Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. City, seconded by Susan. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That is passed. Number 2014-28.
Resolution number 2014-28, expression of thanks and appreciation, Cletus Fontaine, to the Door County Board of Supervisors, whereas Cletus Fontaine was duly elected to the Door County Board of Supervisors in April 2004. He was re-elected in April 2006, 2008, 2010, and 2012, serving for a total of 10 years on the county board. And whereas Supervisor Fontaine represented Supervisory District 1, including the Town of Union and the Town of Brussels Ward 1, and whereas Supervisor Fontaine served on several committees, including Administrative, Ag and Extension, Board of Health, Finance, Glacierland RC&D, Highway, Land Conservation, Social Services, and whereas Supervisor Fontaine also served as Chairman of Ag and Extension, now therefore be it resolved that the County Board of Supervisors assembled this 15th day of April 2014 extends to Cletus Fontaine our sincere thanks and appreciation for his service to the people of Door County and wishes him the best of luck in the future.
Motion by David Campbell, second by John Cook. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is passed.
Resolution number 2014-29, expression of thanks and appreciation, Dale Wiegand. To the Door County Board of Supervisors, whereas Dale Wiegand was duly elected to the Door County Board of Supervisors in April 2004, he was re-elected in April 2006, then again in 2010 and 2012, serving for a total of 8 years on the county board. And whereas Supervisor Wiegand represented Supervisory District 16, including the Town of Egg Harbor, Ward 1 and Ward 2, and the Village of Egg Harbor. After redistricting in 2012, Wiegand represented District 16, which included the Town of Egg Harbor, Ward 1, and the Town of Jacksonport, Ward 1. And whereas Supervisor Wiegand served on several committees, including Airport and Parks, Board of Health, Finance, Law Enforcement and Judiciary, Property, Emergency Services, Legislative, Human Services, ADRC Advisory Board, Museum, Ad Hoc Building Committee, Ad Hoc Fair Study Committee, and whereas Supervisor Wiegand also served as Chairman of Law Enforcement, Emergency Services, ADRC Advisory Board, and Ad Hoc Fair Study Committee, now therefore be it resolved that the County Board of Supervisors assembled this 15th day of April 2014 extends to Dale Wiegand our sincere thanks and appreciation for his service to the people of Door County and wishes him the best of luck in the future.
Motion by Mark Miller, seconded by Randy Halstead. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's passed.
Resolution 2014-30, expression of thanks and appreciation, Mark Firestein. To the Door County Board of Supervisors, whereas Mark Firestein was duly elected to the Door County Board of Supervisors in April 2012, serving for a total of 2 years on the county board. And whereas Supervisor Firestein represented Supervisory District 4, including the Town of Gardner, Ward 1, and the Town of Nassawapi, Ward 3. And whereas Supervisor Firestein served on several committees, including Ag and Extension, Board of Health, Land Conservation, Risk Management, Economic Development, and Museum and Archives. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Board of Supervisors assembled this 15th day of April 2014 extends to Mark Firestein our sincere thanks and appreciation for his service to the people of Door County and wishes him the best of luck in the future.
Okay, motion by John, seconded by Susan. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That is passed. Next one is Mark Miller. You want to introduce the resolution and make a motion, and we'll second, and you explain it?
Certainly, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2014-31, which is the formation of a comprehensive community services program in human services. And I believe Joe's here.
Well, I got a second. Someone second it?
I'll second.
Second by Howard. Yeah, that's good.
Change the seat.
What I was going to
I
say,
didn't mean to blurt that out.
Go ahead, Joe.
before Joe talks, what I was going to say is if you want the 100,000-mile flyover on this one, it's not changing necessarily what we do, but how we do it in order to collect more revenue. And from there, I'll let Joe
Come on up, Joe.
take it.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So what we're asking you to authorize us to do is expand one of the services that we currently offer. For those of you who are new, we run one of the things that we do in Human Services, we run an outpatient mental health clinic. In that clinic, we are required to get licensed by the State Department of Health Services for specific program areas. This is a new program area. As Mark indicated, it's comprehensive community services. This is a program that will allow us to enhance the services to the clients that we currently provide services to. We will be able to do this without any additional staff. We will use our current staff and our existing contracted agencies to provide these services. So we're asking to go forward. What it basically does is allows us to continue to serve the same populations in a little different manner. And part of the reason for doing this is one of the things that the governor built into the budget was 100% funding for this program. So historically, if we would have done this program, we would have only had 60% coverage. It's for individuals who have medical assistance. The medical assistance card would pay 60% of those services. The state is now kicking in the other 40% of that cost. In order for us to get those enhanced fundings, we have to do a partnership. So we're looking at a partnership with Kewaunee and Shawano counties, which is a shared, some of the administrative duties, but that's one of the requirements for the funding. In taking a look at how this will work, again, basically it will allow us to enhance some of the services, which is really the primary reason to do it. The secondary reason is it'll increase our revenues for services that we're already currently doing. In addition, it potentially can offset some of the expenses that we are currently covering and paying for out of county tax levy. So I would be glad to entertain any questions if you have any. Yes, sir.
Is the funding a one-year funding program, or is it perpetual?
The funding at the moment appears to be perpetual, but I would say, as with anything in the state, they can change their mind at some point down the road. So I don't think we have a guarantee with any of our funding. What we can do with this program, and I guess you guys kind of, those of you who've been around, kind of know how we operate things. And Human Services, we're always trying to figure out a way to continue to enhance our services without costing more tax levy. This is a program where we'll be able to do that. This is also a program that if some point down the road starts costing us money, we can stop providing that service. And again, at the moment, it's not additional services that we aren't currently providing.
So you're saying then that, in essence, if the funding starts to ceases or in some manner, form, or whatever, that you're going to let us know?
Correct, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you give some examples of services where we provide the service right now, but it costs us tax levy that this will
Sure.
cover?
I'll give you a couple of with adults, and I'll give you one with children. We have individuals that get court-ordered into placements or get court-ordered into commitments, which means that our department then has to oversee their level of treatment. We have two individuals currently, one for the last 3 years, who are in residential placements. Those placements are covered 100% by tax levy. It's part of our budget. We know that those expenses are going on. One of those individuals is an adult family home. Her cost is $10,800 a year. We have another individual who is in what's called a community-based residential facility. It's a facility that has 24-hour staff. This is an individual who has multiple suicide attempts, mental health, and AODA issues. This individual's placement costs us right now, actually last year, $63,250. That service is fully covered by our tax levy, and again, it's something that we have budgeted for. Through this program, because she had medical assistance, she's no longer placed there. We've worked to move her back into the community and get her out of that placement. But that individual, while she was in placement, because she had MA and because of the rules attached to this program, her MA would have covered 60% of that stay. In the current program that we operate, there is no coverage for residential care. The state also would have kicked in 40% of that, so that entire $63,000 would have been still an expense and still taxpayer money, just not coming out of our tax levy. On the children's side, and this is the area that we intend to start with, and again, our plan for this is to kind of go slowly in terms of adding people into this program so that we can figure out how it works. But on children's services, currently we have families where there are mental health diagnoses for the children, and we put services into the home. Those services, parent education is probably the simplest example of that. So we have trained individuals to go in and help the parents learn skills to deal with these behaviorally challenged kids. Those services would also be covered under this program. They aren't currently. So that parent education, all parent education that we use in the county is part of our budget out of tax levy. Some of this, and again, if we do this correctly, all of it should be covered. Not for every family, because not everybody will meet the right criteria to be in this program, but everybody who meets that criteria, those particular services would be covered at 100%.
Any other questions? If not, go to your voter board and vote yes or, oh, wait. Okay, you go to your voter board. That is passed 21 yes, 0 no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the authorization to proceed with Cane Island. Are you still going with that, or that's not on the agenda? I see Eric is back there. What?
No,
Come on forward, Eric.
not at this time.
It's not this time. Maybe give a brief information on why it got delayed, so everybody knows about it.
Yeah, we'll be coming back at a future meeting, but unfortunately, we have a nice resolution crafted, and we still have to fill in the blanks in the resolution on what bids will be awarded for this project. And right now, we have an incomplete, I guess, span of different components of the project, from construction, like the concrete, carpentry, electricity or electrician work, plumbing, HVAC. We basically didn't get a full, complete set of bids that were submitted. So we're in the process now of kind of regrouping and going back out for a rebid in the next month or so, and then we'll come back to county board after that.
Okay, thank you. Grant, this is on the thing, do we have to make a motion to postpone it or something, or just leave it go?
If you want, there could be a motion to defer, just an announcement to defer. The fact that it's being deferred is...
Okay, we're just going to defer it until the next meeting.
Okay.
Next item is the appointment of committees. We're going to skip that for a couple minutes and try to get through the ordinances. Ken Fisher, you want to explain the text amendment for temporary uses, or start the motion and start the process?
Well, I'll make a motion, we adopt the text amendments as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, seconded by David.
Yeah.
Engel? Okay.
I could, as always, I'll give the disclaimer, I could stumble through it, but Mariah is sitting back there and she can be a lot more concise and accurate than I am, so I'd like her to come up and explain it to
Go
all
ahead.
of us.
Right.
Morning.
Morning.
Temporary uses, this section is a provision that's been in the ordinance for many years, and last year, a group of property owners asked the Resource Planning Committee to take a look at it because they weren't happy with how it was potentially going to be playing out on a particular property. So the Resource Planning Committee and staff looked at it and basically just in the end decided to sponsor some cleanup amendments to make the section more clear. And then at the hearing itself, the town of Liberty Grove asked for a modification to be added to the text amendments. So that's that sub A that's in the text, where the number of days that somebody's allowed to do a temporary use on their property will stay the same everywhere except for Liberty Grove. So I don't know if anybody wants
Okay,
to detail.
for the new members, what, I think I can explain this properly. They have a report from the Resource Planning Committee. We vote on that usually by voice. And you have a chance right now to ask questions on, and then the zoning text amendment is voted on with your voter board, because it's got to be a roll call vote. So does anybody have any questions on this? If not, Ken, you want to make a motion to?
I did make a motion to accept the report.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I didn't take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Get the vote. Now can you make a motion to
Now I'll make a
amend?
motion to accept the amended zoning ordinance 2014-5.
And seconded by David. Okay, has anybody got any questions?
David.
Annie. Go to the voter board and vote with that These are the votes that get sometimes very confusing, so. I thought the last one. That is passed on a vote of 21 yes, 0 no. Ken, you want to go to the next one and
Sure, I'll make
pass it on, of course?
I'll make a motion that to accept the report to the Door County Board of Supervisors for the zoning amendment for the town of Bailey's Harbor.
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Don City.
And that deals with, as it says, 9/11, exterior siding materials and what they can be made out of in core areas and non-core areas. And if you want more of an explanation on that.
Right, back there, so.
Right, and Supervisor City can jump in if I missed something. This, what's referred to as an overlay applies just in Bailey's Harbor. The town had asked in the late 90s that the zoning ordinance disallow certain types of building siding in certain zoning districts in the town of Bailey's Harbor. There have been a couple of properties outside of the downtown area for which that has presented issues in the last 10 years, off and on. So the town took a look at it again this year and decided that they really are mostly concerned with those design issues as it relates to their downtown area, their core area, rather than the outlying places where those zoning districts might also appear.
Okay, any questions? Don?
I would like to add a little bit that in 1998, it was banned at that time. The intent of it was just for core areas only. However, at that time, there was not a defined core area in Bailey's Harbor, and now there is, and hence the reason for this zoning text amendment.
Is there any questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is passed. Ken, you want to make a motion to?
So I'll make a motion, we adopt the amended zoning ordinance 2014-6.
Second it.
Town of Bailey's Harbor.
Seconded by Don City. Any questions? Ready? Yep. Okay, you can go to the voter board and vote yes or no. You got confirmed, Don.
I did.
That has passed to the vote of 21 yes, 0 no. Packet, has anybody got any questions on any of the annual reports? If there are serious questions, we'll send it back to the committee to have them. If not, we're going to take a 10-minute break to reconvene in the group to look one more time at the committee appointments and see that. The reason being, we're going to try to make sure they're more balanced. If they aren't balanced now, we're going to double check it. So take about a 10-minute break, I think. Ready to go?
Where were we?
We're ready.
Whoops.
Is it, well, we did the special reports. No new business that I know of, any oral committee reports.
Yes.
Go ahead, John.
This coming Monday, the 21st, we'll have on the highway agenda road inspection. So if anybody in your district got some roads you think need to be looked at, let one of the committee men know, or John Cologi will take a look at it and get back to you with an answer.
Does that include the city?
Well, I don't know.
It should.
Okay.
We have county.
Anybody else? Chuck?
I thought we were talking a swap that that the whole committee or the whole county board would go on the road inspections as they wanted to all go on the parks. Was that going to happen?
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Were we going to take a bus, John, or?
Probably a couple buses.
Why don't we have the committees, the highway committee and parks committee work that out?
It will be easier for us on the highway because our tour only lasts about 2.5 hours as opposed to 2 full days.
Or you can
But we'll
go
work
to the
at it.
airport. We can
Are those
fly
quivers
around.
emptied yet?
They're getting there.
Okay, any more committee reports? Or any committee minutes want to be reviewed? Review vouchers and claims, anybody got any questions on that? The next county board meeting is May 27th at 9 a.m. Andy Phillips and a couple other people from the Counties Association are going to be here to talk. We're going to go over the noon hour for sure. So lunch is going to be provided. I don't know if it's going to be prime rib or what, but
Surf and turf, I heard.
yeah, probably.
If Andy's buying, yeah.
And so we're going to go past the noon hour. And there are also going to be pictures taken that day, so dress appropriately.
What day is it?
Be here at 8:30.
27.
The
for
next
that.
meeting? Thank you.
Day after.
And the district meeting is April 29th. I haven't really looked at that very closely, but we'll talk to Jill about that.
Mr. Chairman, that
Yep.
being said, if there's no further business to be conducted, I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
Second it?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're done.
We have resolution 33.
Took care of that.
But it's starting to-
Oh, excuse me, we gotta vote on resolutions, I guess. I didn't-
Well,
Kenny,
my town board meetings are as short as possible.
Second.
we gotta back up a little bit here. We forgot to,
Appointment.
we gotta,
so he's
I didn't
got
say
New
adjourn yet.
business, oral committee review.
Be quiet.
Hold
We gotta make a formal vote on the committees. We gotta back up on the agenda to,
21433. I'll make a motion to approve.
okay, is there a second? Second by Ben. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's passed. Now we'll go for the,
I'll make that motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman,
and Mr. City is seconding it.
and I will apologize for my haste.
You just lost the chairmanship.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Aye, 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 aye.